Hello and welcome to episode 15 of Surviving the Week, where each week I tell you about all the things that made me want to hit the fuck it button and the things that helped me survive it. There's been a couple of positives this week amongst all of the chaos that comes with the school holidays. We had lunch with some friends, we had some friends come over, so it's not been entirely bad, just mostly bad. One big positive this week is that my friend Kim is starting to get the music out there with her band. If you have not seen their page already, go check it out. They are on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. There's not a whole lot out just yet, but follow along so that you're the first to hear it when it is. I have a slightly crazy idea because I'm getting the urge to dye my hair again. I know, leave it alone. Okay, but hear me out, okay? What if I dyed just a little strand for each new follower? Would that be entertaining? Or would that be insane? And I mean like just a little bit. Like a little bit like this. Just a little bit for each new follower. Just so that I have something fun to do and I'm not entirely boring. I am determined, though, to let my hair grow out and see how I can cope with my natural colour, most of which these days is actually grey. So I might be able to cope with it. Obviously, it's grown quite a bit. We'll see. At some point, I'm probably going to lose the battle with myself. But thinking positive, I reckon doing a couple of strands, just like under the back, underneath, could be kind of fun. What do you reckon? Now, apart from all of the bad in the world and the complete mentalness of the kids being home from school, which we will get to, there's been only a couple of bad things this week. For example, one of my cats disappeared, and that made me panic a little bit. She was gone for almost 2 days, and I started to get really, really worried. My other cat went out to look for her, and then she reappeared, and he came back an hour later. You could see he was like hunting because his was nose to the floor, like he was tracking her, and he's walked in, looked at her like, and then gone and laid down. I tried to do my eyebrows this morning, and it didn't go too well. See this dip? That's not meant to be like that. Definitely, like, at this point, I know it's meant to be sisters, not twins. This is more like distant cousins. Like, what? I don't want to do the same on the other side, so I'm just gonna have to hope that it grows out quickly, and then I can hopefully fix it. Last week, I deep cleaned the house ready for Easter, and my children destroyed it within 5 minutes of coming home. When I say destroyed, I mean there was no floor left in their bedroom. There was barely any floor left down here. And then I had to try and do an Easter egg hunt. So I had to redo all of the cleaning that I had already done in preparation, which was infuriating. Couple that with my teenager complaining that there weren't enough eggs and then kicking off about the fact that I had to tidy up before we could do the egg hunt. And then my toddler, who is still in this demonic, terrible twos phase, just consistently trying to trash the place whilst I'm trying to tidy it, and then eating cardboard. Now, you're probably thinking, what, like the cardboard box that the chocolate eggs come in? No. The toilet paper tube that she likes to use to pretend that she's a pirate, she bit a bit off and ate it. And so then, at bedtime, when she had sneakily got some more chocolate that she wasn't supposed to have, and fell asleep and then woke up throwing up, I couldn't work out if it was because she had too much chocolate or because she ate a piece of fucking cardboard. Because that can't be healthy for you. And absolutely nobody got dressed other than me. They decided to just spend the day lounging around and doing nothing after the egg hunt was done, which that's what they want to do. Fine, who am I to argue, I suppose? I had arranged for us to go to a family fun day this week. Nice little family day out, some bonding time, fun activities. And then my teenager decided to kick off about it because she wanted to go shopping with her friend. But at the same time, she will often complain that we don't all spend enough time together. In fact, they all complain that we don't spend enough time doing nice things together. So when I arrange a nice thing, I kind of expect them to be happy about it rather than complaining. No such luck, apparently. We did end up going and having a really nice time, right up until the last 20 minutes. We'd had a lovely day, done lots of activities, had lots of fun, and then they attempted archery. And because the bow was bigger than my 6-year-old is, she couldn't do it. And so she had a meltdown about how archery is awful and impossible. I was really good. I got perfect hit. She was devastated that she wasn't any good at it. And even more so because me and my teenager were quite good at it. But to be fair, she's still little. I'm sure, in time, when she's not smaller than the actual bow, it will be easier for her to do. And whilst she's melting down about the fact that she's no good at archery, my toddler decided to pour her bottle of water all over the floor, herself, and the buggy. And my teenager started freaking out because she decided she was going to be late to go see her friend, even though we hadn't actually agreed a time for her to go see her friend. She thought it was appropriate to just completely kick off. So what had been a very nice day ended in disaster, with everyone crying, including me. And this is why it is so difficult to do nice things together. Because at some point, guaranteed, considering we're a family of 5, at least one person's going to have a meltdown. And that tends to trigger everybody else. At one point, we were chatting with a vicar who was telling us about some activities that they have on advertising the church. And my teenager went, "Oh my Lord." And I, as someone who didn't even grow up in the church, felt an overwhelming sense of shame. When I mentioned it afterwards, she was like, "Well, I was going to say, oh my God, but I figured, oh my Lord was better." And I mean, I can't fault her there. It is better, but it's also like the same. So luckily, the vicar didn't seem at all offended, which is good. How is my mental health doing? Well, mainly exhausted, overwhelmed, and at the point of breakdown. In fact, I've had a couple of those this week where everything's just got too much and got on top of me, and I haven't been able to cope very well. I've been more snappy with the kids. I've been not managing to keep on top of things, snappy with my husband, and just overly emotional and can't seem to rein it in. I think I just need them to go back to school. We need to get back into routine. We need some structure back in our lives so that I can remember how to breathe and function and be a human being and not have my house be totally disgusting. Because when they're at home all the time, it kind of feels like, what's the point? I'm attempting to clean up after them, and it just feels like a futile effort. One of my friends said to me this week that she's glad she can't understand why the people who have done her wrong did the things that they did. Because it means that she's not like them. She's not twisted and dark like they are. She's a good person if she can't understand why they do those things. The problem I have is that I can understand. Apart from the pattern recognition that I have with people where I can predict their movements and their intentions. I am very good at predicting what people do, because I'm like, if I let myself, like if I lost all morality, if I switched off the humanity, what would I do? And I'm like, oh, that's exactly what I do, therefore that's what they're going to do. Or why did they do this? Well, if I switch off my humanity, I would do that. That darn moral compass really gets in the way of doing things a lot of the time. But for people who don't have that, I find it quite easy to get into their heads. And I don't know if that means that I'm secretly evil. Is it a secret? Probably not. Inherently evil? Maybe. Or just really fucked up and traumatized. Who knows? Where to even start with current events this week? Because, like, what the fuck? There's been a lot. Trump's ridiculous war making petrol prices go up has meant that even my milkman has had to send an email saying, we're really sorry, we've got to add a fuel charge onto the milk deliveries because they're struggling so badly. They've been trying to hold off on doing it, and now they're left with no choice because petrol's become so ridiculously expensive and it's hard to manage. I have a local milkman from a farm literally down the road, which I think it's really important to support small local businesses like that and local agriculture. So I'm more than happy to pay the fuel charge, but it's just wrong that they have to do that. Like, what is happening? This is insanity. Twice this week, I have got overexcited with the prospect of Trump being dead, as has the internet. Everyone's got a bit too excited because he disappeared and was in hospital over Easter weekend, which turned out to not be entirely true. Everyone thought that he was going to be dead, which would have been a lovely Easter present. And then with Melania saying that she's going to do a speech, we thought maybe she's announcing that he's dead. That would have been really nice. Instead, she told us she has no connection to Epstein, despite the mountains of evidence that she did indeed have a connection to Epstein and Maxwell. And obviously we know that her husband, who, yeah, sure, she hates, but whatever, you're still married to him, was, I mean, is it even the Epstein files? Is it not really the Trump files at this point? Like, if we're being honest. Now, the question is, they used the war to distract from the Epstein files. Now they're distracting from the war by using the Epstein files. So what else is there? Why does it feel like something else big is about to happen? And what will that be? I mean, Trump said he was going to end an entire civilization on Tuesday, and then instead turned around and said there was a ceasefire, except there wasn't actually any paperwork for it, so the ceasefire didn't actually exist. What? The strait is open, the strait is closed. Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister, has gone over to the Middle East to try and discuss the Strait of Hormuz, apologies for my pronunciation, being reopened. Like, how about, whilst you're there, you do something about the US using our airspace, using our land to continue to fight this stupid fucking war. Trump claims that there was a rescue for a plane that got shot down and the pilot had to be rescued, except for the fact that the entire mission is a bit sketchy, doesn't really make any sense. Why would you send that many planes to get one guy? Surely you would want to be discreet in a search and rescue, right? Isn't that what the SEALs are for? Because they're discreet? Because they know how to get in and out. That's what the adverts are when you see them, right? So how does it make sense that they sent so much over to get this one dude. There is a theory that actually they weren't there to get anyone. They were there to try and get Iran's uranium. But I mean, who knows? Who's ever really going to know? At some point, he'll be dead. There'll be an administration in that isn't as corrupt, still corrupt, they all are, but not as corrupt. And then maybe we'll get some answers and there'll be some investigations. Trump will probably be dead by then, but at least someone might pay for it. Because, like, how many more war crimes are we just going to allow to happen? Like, really? Even the Pope continues to condemn Trump and his war and refuses to meet with him and his administration, which, to be fair, is a pretty sensible shout considering what happened the last time one of the popes met one of those guys. Do you remember that? The Pope met with JD and then he died. So, yeah. I think this Pope's probably got the right idea. The really weird thing about this is that all the Christians in MAGA are condemning the actions of the Pope by saying that he should meet with Trump. And you know who's defending the Pope? The atheists and the agnostics. How fucking, like, what weird Twilight Zone are we in? What is this timeline? What is happening here? Because it's not making any sense to me. Who knew what would unite the world was the hatred of this evil, evil man? Although I guess that's kind of what happened before, right? With Adolf. So it does kind of make sense. So I'm fully expecting there to be some sort of big news coming out very, very soon in the wake of Melania's little performance. We'll see what that is. I'm sure things will continue to get worse before they get better. But one bit of little good news from the UK is that Kanye West has been banned. He has been banned from the UK. Why? Because he's trash. Because he's an awful, horrific fucking psychopath who's clearly off his meds and needs to be in a padded cell. Because of that, Wireless Festival has been cancelled, which seems odd. You'd think they would just get a different headliner. Now, if only the UK would start banning more of these fucking MAGA nut jobs. Like, I don't know, Trump and all of his followers. If you happen to be part of this fucking Nazi cult, don't come to the UK. Can we not just ban all of them? Like, really? That would be great. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you next week. Stick around for the weekly tarot. This has just fallen out of the pack. Page of Wands reversed. Lack of direction, procrastination, creating conflict, self-limiting beliefs, spiritual path, newly formed idea. I get the same cards over and over again, which, I mean, I suppose makes sense, but it's still a bit weird. Ace of Pentacles, reversed. Lost opportunity, missed chance, bad investment, lack of planning and foresight. So that's what we can expect from this week. I'm going to miss an opportunity, make a bad investment, and have a lack of planning and foresight, which, to be fair, is like my entire life. So, you know, standard.